What's up, Canada? This is Etienne from Signatures, and I'm just checking in on you. How are you? Do you know what day it is today? It is Friday, May 22nd. Thank goodness it's Friday and that the weekend is in sight. This morning I woke up with a nagging back injury and I spilled coffee all over my counter. Guys, I don't ask for a lot, but if you could send me your favorite emoji in the comments, I think that would help usher in some good vibes. I appreciate you. Our guest is ready to go. I love it. Did you guys catch yesterday's episode? Let me just say, Andréane brought it. I want to say big thanks to her for radiating such lively energy on the show and for letting us take a little peek inside her busy little studio. We even got to say hi to her twin sister and her lovely mother. Amazing stuff. If you missed it, you can catch her episode and all previous episodes of Just Checking In on our YouTube channel by smashing that link in our bio. Now, I'm going to throw on the sunnies because that's right. It's getting hot in here, and I am very excited to bring you guys a Just Checking In first. We've got a live demonstration happening. Our pal Jonathan Léon from Lolipop Glass has his torch fired up and is ready to make some glass art for us. You guys ready? I'm ready. Let's bring him in. He's going to burn the house down. Oh no.
Oh, yes, I am. We set up,
My friend, how
set
are
up
you?
the screen first, just so you guys can actually see me working. Can you hear me?
I can hear you great.
Okay, perfect. All right, let me just do this. It's actually a Dominion lens that will actually take away the flaring while I'm working.
Okay.
So like that, you guys can actually, see me
Love it.
the way I see the glass getting melted.
Yeah, because you always have to wear safety glasses, correct?
The Dominion glasses are important because what happens is that when it's not like a hot flash, for example, with metal, the difference is basically you'll see it while if I would take the lens off, the minute my rod actually gets into the flame, an oxidized flame, what happens is that it gets really bright. So basically, the glasses are to make you see through that brightness and makes the flame more bluish and peachy sometimes, so you can actually really see the rod inside, or else you can't see anything while I'm inside the fire, basically.
All right.
So yeah, that's how it goes.
Now, a dumb question for you, Jonathan.
Okay.
And I'm gonna have a few.
Try to see through the volume because I'm gonna. You know what? Whoops. You're seeing. Oh, you're seeing Val-David.
Wow, beautiful.
Over. That's
Hello,
the beauty of live. The beauty of live. All right, let's do this. All right, I'm gonna put you on my speaker.
Okay.
That can really hear me well, but tell me if ever you hear it in the background because you know what I mean. It could be not practical. So let me see if I can get this going. I can't seem to get it going,
That's
and
okay.
I don't want to shake the camera too much.
Yeah.
That it's weird for you guys while you're seeing. I'm just gonna try real quick. This. No. All right. Anyways, the best. What's that?
We'll let you do your thing.
I think that's the best. So basically, I'm going to do some pieces in front of you, and just going to pop this up a little bit higher so you can actually see my face as well and the weird kind of faces I make while working.
Love it.
Always very cute. So today I'm going to make a few demos. Just one blown piece, which will be like a Christmas ornament, which I never make. But I'm going to do one because it's an impressive thing to see, the glass getting blown.
Don't do this to me, Instagram. Oh no. We were just about to get started. People. Oh, are you back?
So let's start. So basically, I'm going to start with the Christmas ornament, which, as I was saying, I never make. But in this situation, I'm going to make one because it's impressive to see the glass getting blown. So, little context: the glass I use is very, very particular. It is what you would call borosilicate, which is rarely used by craft people because it's usually scientific glass blowers that use it. I was trained by a former scientific glass blower from the Roche Laboratory Studios in Switzerland. He immigrated to Canada, worked with him for many years, 8 years, and now for the past 15, I've been working under Lollipop. So, borosilicate Pyrex is a glass that is very, very lightweight, super resistant, and very clear as well, except when it's blank. So, what I'm going to be making is basically a Christmas ball with black Pyrex, with sublimated fine silver. Sublimated fine silver is basically when you go from physical to gas state with the silver, and it goes onto the glass and creates a color. I'm going to also do a bit of gold on it. So I'm going to be adding some 24 karat gold and pure silver smoke.
Ooh,
Oh yeah, baby. Yeah, nice, you know. And then afterwards, if people have questions, they can ask them. I always tend to look at the camera, and if I see the question, I'll answer it while I'm working. I have that ability to work and talk at the same time. I guess I must have been shut up as a kid because I always seem to be talking. So, concentrated or not, I just need to talk. So don't be shy, you guys, if ever you have any questions.
Yeah,
it's such a thank you for having me, by the way. Thank you so much for having me. Signature show people. I love you all. And so let's go. So I'm going to start by basically taking off this tip part that's red right now. So this is like excess glass. Most people will have the question, what do you do with your excess glass? Well, I throw it in the garbage because my time is worth a lot more by the hour than recuperating maybe 3% of waste. That's the sound of that piece going to my tin garbage. So now I have a little nipple on the end like this. So I'm just going to blow that out because it's too thick so that when I'm going to blow, it's going to be equal. Very lightly, just like that, just slightly. And so now I've heated my whole piece equally. And the reason I do this is because most glass comes from Germany, Austria, Czechoslovakia, USA, France, and China. China, the problem is they cut corners a little bit and they don't anneal the glass when they sell it to you. So this is, but they make the best black glass, blue glass. But you have to like kind of anneal it before it goes slow, or else it just goes boom and explodes. So we don't want that. So now you can see just a little bit red, a very dark red actually. So now I'm good to go. So I need a particular flame for sublimation, not too strong, because I want that silver to go up in smokes at around 1785 degrees. Now, just to give you an idea of proportions, Venetian Murano glass melts at 900. So we're way, way, way past Murano. Wow. My glass actually gets to the fusion point at around 2200 degrees. So it's very different from what people are used to seeing. May it be fused glass, soft glass, crystal. This glass is the baby on the block. This glass has been around for about 150 years, which is extremely young when you compare it to the history that goes back thousands of years in glass, and which goes back about 600 to 700 years in Venice. But it was developed to do beakers in laboratories. It was developed for science. So it only started to actually get into craft when they started to do paraphernalia for what's legal now in Canada. But it was done in the US back in the days. So that kind of made for artisans to develop colors in borosilicate. And we're talking only 30 years ago. When I met my master when I was 14, so exactly 30 years ago, there was no color. There was no store that would sell us borosilicate color. We had to go through pharmaceutical companies or the companies that sell the pharmaceutical. And then a year or two later, we had red, orange, and I don't know, yellow, red, and orange. Now, 30 years later, you've got almost every color in the spectrum. So it's a glass that is amazing for jewelry because of the fact that, well, I mean, it's Pyrex, you know, and that's tough stuff. So for jewelry, like earrings, for example, super, super, super lightweight. For large pieces, like large pendants, very, very, very different glass. And so now I've sublimated a lot of gold on this piece over the silver. So it's going to play some dramatic effect in color. All right, and I'm going to show you this. Look at the sheer and the shine. You see it? That's metal. That's pure silver and gold. So now what I'm going to do is slowly, not too fast, I'm going to slowly heat up my whole piece so that the metal basically encases inside the glass a little bit before blowing it. But even before that, I'm going to be putting a little spiral around in glass just to create a little effect. And I'm going to do it pink. So it's going to create this particular hue over the glass. And then I'll put a clear one. So we'll see the difference between the pink and the clear. So I'm just still heating up pretty much everywhere, just going in and out, in and out. What's important right now for me is to keep that piece, that big piece, nice and warm. But at the same time, it's a very multitasking type of work. At the same time, I have to keep my pink rod and keep turning, because if I stop turning, it's just going to droop. So now I've got pretty much the quantity I need. I'm going to go poke the glass, and I'll do it right in front of the camera. So 1, 2, 3, boom, pull, turn, 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 and back into the flame. Heat that up so that it doesn't unstick from it. I want this to fuse with it. All right. Now I'm going to do this with the clear, as I said. So just keeping this all warm again. Put a bit more torque into it. Not too much. I want to get that gold out or that silver. So I'm just going to keep doing it like that. Basically, the longest thing in this glass is to heat up what you need. It's a glass that reacts very differently from Venetian glass. So Venetian glass, when you pop out of the glory hole or out of your torch that's at 900 degrees, what happens is that it stays warm super long, 30 seconds, 45 seconds. My glass cools in about 10 seconds. So it's very, very fast. So now I'm just going to go cross it, come back, and there you go.
Wow.
Now I'm going to heat everything up, and I'm going to blow this piece.
All right.
So I'm going to take a little bit of this. So going with the big torch. Okay. Bring down the smaller one just a little bit, just to keep it nice and tight. And I'm going to heat everything evenly, as much as possible. Because what I want is, this piece to start contracting a little bit, but amassing the quantity of glass for the wall thickness evenly everywhere. You understand what I mean? So my wall thickness right now must be like 3.2 mil, but by doing this, I'm making the glass thicker. But I want it to be thick everywhere equally, because if I start blowing and one side is like way too thin, it's going to pop out a lot more. So you have to really, really be careful in how you basically like churn inside the flame, make sure everything is melted exactly evenly for as much as you can, obviously.
Gotta keep things smooth.
All right. So I'm going to be in this flame for maybe another 30 seconds. Always adjusting my little dials. I'm very close to doing this. Very close. Just going to go in here, out there. Nice and tight. And I think I can start counting 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's a go.
Wow. Look at that.
Voila. All right. So now I have the ball. Now we can't really see the colors right now because of the Demimium screen. It like purples it a little bit too much, and so I'll shut the big one. Get this one down. Now another thing you need to know. You know when you drop a Christmas ball, I think pretty much everyone did, or their cat did. You know how it goes like poof, like an ampoule. How do you say that? I forget. A light bulb.
Bulb.
That's because the air is caught inside, and that creates such a stress that basically, if it like this ball, if it would fall on the floor because of the wall thickness, it'll bounce. Because I'm going to poke a little hole inside, what I'm going to do is just use a very, very sharp flame, okay, and just heat up one little area, which I will then come and grab with my glass rod, pull a little bit, so really, really thin, okay? So this won't be enough. It'll be close, but not enough. Second shot will be good. Pull, 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 pull. All right. Cut it here. And then by doing this, now I got a hole. But I don't want that hole to poke out. So I'm just going to fire polish it, make sure that it goes back so that when somebody sees the piece, they don't see that protruding too much, you know? Now I did it a little too much. I'm going to go back. There you go. Then I'm going to do this, what I just did, but lightly. It was a guess. Now that's perfect.
Nice.
I said it was perfect, but the hole just closed up. Let me just get that hole back right one little second. And there we have it. You know when you want that to be done right away and it doesn't do it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Got it. All right, perfect. Perfecto. I want to close it, but not completely close it. All right, so what I'm going to do is just poke it like this. I'm a perfectionist. I'm obsessed with detail and lines. And so for me, it's super important that a client doesn't come up to me and say, what's that? When it's not supposed to be there. You know what I mean? So that's why you'll see, like, for example, all my pendants, the bails, the loop through which you pass the chain looks almost as if it was always with the piece, but it's done afterwards. And I'm going to be doing a bail on this one, so you can put the hook and everything. And you'll probably, next time you'll see a glass crystal ball, a Christmas ball, or a bail, you'll notice the difference. The bail is the hardest thing to do in this case. And usually, because it's so hard to do, people take shortcuts. I mastered the bail because I've done over 30,000 bails in the past 20 years because I sell pendants. I have big clientele is museum gift shops.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I have to do a lot of inventory. And in the past 20 years, I mean, I've sold a lot of pieces through the shows with Signature, obviously, you know, the Calgary one, the Ottawa one, your show, the By Hand show for wholesale. one of my best shows, much better than the Toronto Gift Show. And I'm not saying that because we're live right now, but it is true. It's a niche market for basically the clients that are looking for handmade, and the Toronto Gift Show is not the place for that. So, I mean, you guys have been really good to me throughout the years, and always listen when I have my little bitchy moments there. You know, artists, you know how we can be. We're like kids. It's like a kindergarten dealing with artists. I know because I've grown. So now the bail, which is the fun part to do. I love this. So now, I mean, I am literally just glued to that piece very lightly. So hopefully it's not too heavy and doesn't drop. It doesn't matter. I'll be able to pick it up after if it would. But it'd be nice to just do it in one shot like I do every piece usually. So now I'm thickening the top part. All right. So I'm bringing it down a little bit, shortening it. All right, as you can see here. So it's almost like full glass right there. And what I'm going to do is accumulate the quantity of glass necessary to do the veil. And so for the Christmas ball, usually it's going to be a veil that would be a bit bigger, or pretty much the same size as one of my XXL pendants, which are about like almost 4 inches in diameter. But they're so light, it doesn't matter. You know, that's the beauty of the borosilicate Pyrex. All right, so bringing those two pieces together, fusing them together. Now I've got this loose, clear glass that I got to stretch evenly to make the bail. So now, just at the right moment, heat up over it, twist lightly. I want to twist too much because it gets cold so fast. So I could actually twist the whole bail, which I don't want to. All right, so this is the part that makes the difference. You'll see this usually, or very crooked, but that little nipple right there, I don't want it there. It's too crafty. I don't want that. I want people to think it's a machine that made this. And then when they actually know that I made it, they're like, oh my God, that just doesn't make sense. Well, it's more work, but the aesthetic fits my nutcase mentality of obsessive compulsive straight lines. Well, there you go. You know, I mean, you got to be open. That's how it is. All right. I don't have too many OCDs, but you know, that's one that's important because it's actually the image of my company that I'm actually throwing out there in the world. All right. Little tool to just heat up that veil because it tilts a little bit by here, a little bit crooked, but you wouldn't see it, but I see it, obviously. So just going to straighten that one up. Now that's a beauty. There you go. And boom. Now, as I was saying, this is glued super lightly to the piece. Usually I just go like this. All right. So if I would have banged myself on that, on my torch or something, that piece would have fallen. It would have fallen for sure. It happened. Rarely, but it does happen. So now I want that. There's a little piece. Sometimes there's no pieces of glass left. Sometimes there is. There was a little piece. What I'm going to do now is heat up, well, actually cool down the piece. Now I'm cooling it down, all right? And you should see basically afterwards. I'll show you the top part. The gold is just crazy. And then I'm going to put it in vermiculite, which basically is a vermiculite without asbestos that we usually put in plants to keep the humidity and the heat. All right, so I'm going to try to take another piece just to show you the top part, because the top part is just nuts. Amazing. See that? And what I'll do is that when the piece is like cooled down and everything, I'll take a picture outside and I'll post it on the live so that the people will see the result of it. All right, so that one's done. And the next piece that I will do, I'm just trying to cover this up. All right, now it's all covered. Perfect. Next piece is a pretty impressive one as well. It's a glass ring. People are fascinated by glass rings since the 1800s.
Wow.
Because the only people that actually were allowed to wear glass rings were noblemen, noble women, obviously, princesses in Europe, in Italy. They were all made in Murano. And if the artist thought that he was cool shit enough to leave the island and go somewhere else to start his craft, if he got caught, he would get hung. The last hanging was in 1876, I think, of an artisan that tried to leave Murano. And then it started to democratize itself, and you started to see artists go a little bit everywhere around the world. And that's how glass and artisan craft glass started to get more and more popular. Because like any artist, the more work you have out there, the more people know you. The more people know you, the more people talk about you. And that's what happened in Venice, basically.
Wow.
Love it. What's that?
It's a history lesson. Didn't expect that.
Well, I mean, you got to know your stuff. Yep. Because it's easy in some ways to do certain craft. But when a patron is a very good patron and buys a lot from you, or even just somebody that's curious, a kid comes up to you and says, hey, welcome, this and this and that. If you don't know your stuff, I mean, you don't look professional. I'm not saying that, like I don't know the whole history of glass. I'm especially terrible in glass composition. So when people tell me, oh, so what's the color that makes the blue? At one point, there's so many things you need to know that I don't know everything. But I do know a bit my stuff because for years when I started, so when I opened Lollipop in 2006, 2006, the first shows that I would do were like small, not flea market, but I mean small village, little town artisans, and I used to see a lot of other glass people, a lot of so much fused glass. And so I would have to, when I would talk to my clients that would come up, I would give them my spiel, knowing that borosilicate is a glass that's lighter, stronger than that, but then I'd have to defend it. And so why are you saying that? And the person wouldn't know borosilicate, for example. And I'd have to tell them it's live glass. You can't take like a Murano vase, put a bunch of torch underneath it and start boiling stuff. It'll just blow up. So right off the bat, if glass can't withstand a certain heat, it's because it's not hard enough in its composition. So borosilicate has a super high level of quartz sand. And that's what makes the big difference. It's basically 20% shy of being a pure quartz. That's what it is. Yeah. So this glass I'm going to use, might as well, play with some gold again and silver because the results are so cool. So I'm going to make a ring with some gold and silver. Take a little slug of my Timmy here.
Yeah, cheers.
Oh, that's so good. All right. So obviously, again, the way I start, accumulate the glass I need. It's the same routine. It's so zen in a way. When I'm alone at the studio in like middle of winter or whatever, and there's nobody around walking, and there's just this and the compressors and everything, there's something so soothing, with that sound that you just, because I have obviously a good 23 to 25,000 hours behind the torch, there are a lot of movements that I do instinctively. So that's why I think I can talk at the same time. The only mistakes that I do once in a while is when somebody, let's say, wants a ring, and I'm talking, going back and forth. We're talking about this in life, and clients become more than clients in that one call. Well, the piece might end up being a pendant because I completely forgot that it was a ring. But that's the worst case scenario. So it's not that bad.
Happy little mistakes.
If I have made mistakes or if I make mistakes?
No,
both, I guess.
They're happy little mistakes, like what Bob Ross taught us.
Oh, of course. I mean, yeah. Well, the silver and smoke that is called, well, actually the silver collection, where I use a lot of silver, is called the Ghost Collection. And that pattern came about in a mistake. Obviously, so many. I mean, I've done pieces, like before I would never do hearts. Talking about like 10 years ago, I thought hearts were so kitsch, so Italian, like Murano, Marinis. And like, it's not my aesthetic at all. Look at me. It's not me, Yeah. But a client of mine forced me to make one because she had bought easily for $1,000 in 2 years, let's say. So each time I'd see her, I'd be like, "Oh, hello, Miss Nana," you know. And then one day she said, "Okay, so listen, I got a Murano heart, I got a Lalique heart, I got a Baccarat heart, I got hearts from every artisan I've met, but you, because you don't want to do hearts. Now, if you want to keep my business,
Right.
I suggest you start making hearts, or at least one for me." So I said, "You know what? Okay. And so I basically worked for a good month trying to figure out how to make a heart. Not, I knew how to make a heart, but I mean how to make a lollipop heart. And you'll see when you see glass jewelry and you see hearts, put them all one beside the other. Put a lollipop heart, and it stands out completely because it looks as if it's made in a mold almost. The lines are like super tight. It's like like really like a design drawing of a heart, you know. And so, and that way, I could say that I'm proud of that aesthetic piece because on top of it all, it's slanted. So that perfection slanted almost looks abstract from afar. And so, yeah, that's how I started to do that. And now it's part of every single one of my collections.
Amazing.
So, yeah. So, yeah, mistakes, obviously, mistakes are good. You need to make mistakes. Mistakes are usually what bring about good ideas, you know?
Yes.
All right, so now I'm going to put just a little coat of pink as well to create that little mauve-ish, pinkish effect. And so just quickly do this, heat it up, keep this a little bit cooler so when I mash it onto it, it doesn't like move. So here am I going right there, boom. All right, so now I got myself some pink. I'm gonna take that rod out, put it right here, heat this up. I'm going to mash the pink onto the clear and then fuse it completely. Take a bigger flame. All right, now that's done. I'm just going to come and lightly tap it on my graphite pad. All the black that you see or the charcoal you see around me, it's all graphite. It's the only material that can absorb that kind of heat without cooling it too fast. So if I'd be using marble or metal, it would stop right off the bat dead in my tracks. All right, so this time I'm going to go the other way around. I'm going to put some gold, and afterwards I'm going to put some silver. All right, I got my little speck of gold right here. I'll show you fast in the camera. You'll see it will be the only tiny ball of light. Do you see that little speck? That's the 24.
Wow.
So now it's starting to sublimate. Put the glass right in front of it. Whoop, there you go. You got some gold right on there. And then a tad of silver. A little bit stronger. Not that strong. All right. Now we got like a real gold color.
A little lower. Beautiful.
All right. So I'm going to do a simple effect. I'm just going to go and add some clear dots on it, which will encase the gold, and the rest will probably like go off a little. Like if I go with a strong flame, I can take off that gold and silver right away. It'll be super quick. But if I go slowly, I can actually just heat it up slowly, put some dots on it, 1 dot, 2 dots, and just go random basically. Just polka dot it a little bit everywhere. Okay, one little here, one here, and one here. Gonna heat it up. That will take off some gold here and there. Use the pad to mash that down, fuse it together. Put a few more dots of gold, of clear. That will encase the rest of the color. And then for the finale, when that is fused up together, I will put a black coating that makes everything just pop out completely. So every nuance of silver and gold that is created when put onto glass like this will really stand out. So, got this done. Heating up just the bottom here. This thing. All right. So I'm going to come and get the black here.
Have you done these demos at shows before?
I have done some live demos at shows. I have done a live demo at. Haven't I done one in Ottawa at your show once? Oh no, it was just an interview with that blonde that's in Alberta now. So just an interview. I'll come in the morning. Yeah, I've done it at shows, but I don't like to do it at shows because what happens is that you get a massive crowd of people. Okay, and I usually do my shows all alone. So you get a massive crowd of people. You finish your demo, get up, and there's an awkward moment. So people are like, so people like go. So it's like losing everything. So you attract everything, you're all hyped up, but then you lose all. So I have to do that all the time with an employee. But I'm not the best with employees. I'm too much of a savage. I'm good with people, but with employees, it's not the same thing. I'm such a perfectionist that I get impatient too fast, and so I know this about myself. So basically, I decided to not to do it my way, and it has worked out perfectly for me. I mean, now what I'm starting to offer to my clients and it's just exploded recently. Lollipop. Funny how situations like what we're living right now, could bring some people so down, and other people give them great ideas and just see something in that whole mess of a tornado of life and just manage to go right through it because there's a light right over there at the end of that tunnel. And that, for me, that light was, why don't I share this like I share this usually in the studio when people walk in, but in the virtual world. This is virtual, but this is real. I know you.
Yeah.
We've talked. Yeah. I mean, you know what I mean? So what happens is that at one point I said, you know what? I'm going to put a cherry on top. Whomever buys one of my pieces, while I do a live, I'll do your piece. And I'll talk to you. And I'll say, hey, Francine, so right now I'm going to be doing a pendant like you wanted, the Shiva New collection. So the way I do this piece, blah, 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 blah. And people freaked out. They just started sharing and sharing and sharing and sharing and just talking about me. And in the span of a month, I've gained, I mean, I have a page where I was close to 5,000 last in May. So we're in May right now. Okay. So end of May, I was at 4,900 something. I'm almost at 5,700 in 1 month. And I did not pay for any of those likes. Because to pay for that on Facebook would have cost me at least $2,000. To get like 700 or 800 likes, it would have cost me a lot of money. So I realized I'm onto something. I am really onto something. And so I started to do more and more and more on my Facebook page, which is basically facebook.com/Lollipop Glass, all in one word, lollipop with one L. And basically, every day I'm getting new people. Every day people asking me, is that piece available? Could you do a live demo for me? I saw that you make this. I saw, And so, yeah. And on top of that, I do a lot of memorial commemorative jewelry with cremains, animals, and humans with an American company. And I don't know, something's going on in Canada right now. The people are like, know that I'm doing it. So every week I get at least 5 demands, maybe 3 or almost 5 orders, because the way I explain it to people, that I'm going to show it to them live and this and that, and my prices are super competitive because I hate that mentality of when people die, like people have to take advantage. It just gets me mad. I'm not that type of person. So I'll knock off like 30%, 40% of the price usually that are sold in the US, just because of that fact. And so, yeah, makes a big difference. And my guy that has a company in the US, when it's my own clients in Canada, he, even in the US, has contacted me, he doesn't care. He has like 125,000 likes just on his page.
Wow.
It's nuts. So that became a big, big thing. All right. That ring is going to get stretched. Now this is going to get stretched into a ring. Watch out. You're going to be surprised. You're going to be like, where is he going with this? And then suddenly, at the last minute, it will go, oh. That's how it is.
Can people watch you from outside your studio?
You go grab that disc that I just cut right here. All right. Take off that little nipple right there, the excess of glass. All right. Get that out of the way. I do that because when I cut, I create like micro bubbles. And if I would just heat it up and mash it, it would, in the light, in the daylight, with the sun, you would see little imperfections. Slight, but still, somebody that's a little bit obsessed or that, I don't know, for whatever reason, think that $29 glass ring is way too expensive, would see it. Oh, did you make me a price for that? Look at this. You know what I mean? But yeah, we know, right? So, yeah. All right, I'm going to mash this into a graphite mold that is only basically like a half dome shape so that my piece, once I'm going to stretch it, or for my pendants, I do the same thing. They're always in a dome shape because it conducts light so well, this glass, that if you do that, it'll conduct even more, like a magnifying glass. You know what I mean? All right, stick this one right there. The other side. And boom. Now we got two pieces. Make that flame nice and sharp. And we're going to heat. I'm going to heat a little bit left, heat a little bit right. Just evenly heat it up everywhere. Evenly is the key, which is super hard. Hard because for me, I work with way too much power because I'm used to working fast now in a way. So to control that is a lot harder when you're going fast, and I can't do it slow. It'll annoy me. So it's like a challenge that I give myself that I got to make it. I can't drop this. I can't lose this. I can't stretch it too much on one side. And so what that does is that builds the experience of being able to work with a much higher flame, which in return melts the glass faster, which in return makes for production to be a lot higher. So I have a higher yield at the end of the day of pieces if I work like this, but I didn't always work like this. Maybe it's been like 4 years that I work like this. So 1, 2, 3, presto. And then you got the mandrel here. Stick them there. Bring them down to a 9.5. And there's the weasel. Wow. My little tool here. Still too hot to mash it in, so I'm just gonna wait till it cools down a sec. This tool will be to ream it. I'm going to heat up my tool because it's cold, even if it's only 30 degrees or 20 something degrees, it's still way colder than, let's say, the temperature now, which is maybe 1500 degrees. So I won't even mash it right away. Wait just a little bit, mash it, click. So those are basically surgical tools they use in the hospital, like doctors use those. All right, there's a little bit too much of excess here, so I'm going to get this out. Else it's going to be lumpy on the back. Want that? It's nice. Add a little more right here. That's good. And now I'm going to melt this all together. And I'm going to come and ream it with a graphite rod into basically like a half pipe made of graphite. But a half pipe that doesn't have like a 90-degree ledge. So this, make sure everything is nice and warm. And then I go here in that little tool. I don't know if you see it, but
no.
Go, do it again. The first time is never perfect. You have to Put the glass a little bit here, a little bit there. Make sure that, there we go. Bring this down. Heat the whole thing up again. Because now the thing is that the bottom part is super, super, super hot, but the top part here is super cold. So we don't want that to crack before it goes into the vermiculite, and afterwards it'll go in the kiln at 1100 degrees for 6 hours. So that will balance the molecules of my glass, basically. And that is pretty much it. So it's going to cool down.
Love it.
You
Bravo,
see the
sir.
dots, all different colors of gold.
Yeah.
So I'll take that in pictures.
Beautiful.
And I'll
Beautiful.
be done. And so, yeah.
Can people watch you work from outside your studio?
That was the demo.
Can you hear me?
What's that?
Can people watch you from
I
outside
can't.
your studio?
All right, I'm just going to bring you just a little bit closer.
Yeah.
There you go. I'm going to do this.
Perfect.
I'm going to bring that volume up because I could hear you earlier. So I'm trying to understand why I can't.
Oh, did we lose him? Hello. Yeah. Hello. So can people watch you from outside your studio? You have a window there?
Oh yeah, of course. I'll show you. Look at how it looks. This is like the front. This is people coming on the street, basically. This is what they see. And so they pass by, look, you see he's looking, blah, blah. So a lot of people, they see me working. So that's the big advantage of my studio boutique in Val-David, is that people come in, I'm working at the same time, they do their thing. I'll show you the boutique as well. Look at this. All right, so I just redecorated the whole thing. It's a bit of a mess right now. So you got the nice screen, like at night, people, they go by and they see pictures of the pieces.
Wow.
So this is basically the boutique.
Amazing.
So it's a small little shop and very quaint in a nice little village in the Laurentians. And people love it because it's so, I don't know, there's something I find like walking into any little shop where you have an intimate connection with someone. It's not like going on a big surface. If you go to Canadian Tire and you're looking for an employee and they're pissed off working there, or I don't know what. And this here, I'm like, I'm working. Hey, how are you? Keep working. So where are you guys from? I don't know. Oh, I'm serious. Blah, blah, blah. And start talking. And then they buy, they don't buy, whatever, And that's how it goes.
Yeah, I can relate. Next time I'm in that area, I'll be sure to stop by.
For sure.
So you basically answered all the interview questions that I had while you were doing your work. So bravo to you.
I'm an interviewer and interviewee at the same time.
It's amazing. Thank you. You make my job easy. But the last question I had for you, Jonathan, it is the famous question I ask all my guests. So in life, in art, and in your heart, Jonathan, what is your signature?
You know what? I think that putting apart the aesthetic side, my signature as a human being in Lolipop, doing work that makes me so happy, is to give a lot more than people expect. That's my aim. Awesome. May it be with my personality of talking and sharing with a parent that bought a piece for me before and has a kid that has drug problems, and then we start talking about that and the life and it's whatever, and it becomes very intimate. Or it could be a client that has bought from me 4 times and I'm fed up of, not giving them a little gift. So this time, you know what? F it. Why don't you grab yourself a pair of earrings this time? On me. So I think that having that type of personality brings people closer to me and makes them appreciate and makes them talk about me so much more than if I'd stay in my bubble, if I didn't talk to people, and if I just stayed in my own world and let somebody else sell my work or whatnot. But it did not come like that. It took me years. Obviously, I'm not a shy person. I think you can all see that. But to be able to be as comfortable talking to people, to be confident, takes experience, and you can't buy that. You just can't buy experience. So, yeah, I think that's my biggest strength.
Amazing, amazing. Well, sir, you are one in a million, and we thank you so much for that amazing live demonstration and all the detail that you put into explaining it, the history behind it. We got science lessons today. We got history lessons. Everything. So once again, Jonathan Léon from Lolipop Glass.
Thank you, guys.
Keep doing the great work you're doing, and we hope to see you again at a show in the near future.
Obviously, we're going to see each other soon, and hopefully we could just like high five or something in a hug. Don't we need that right now? Huh.
Yes, we do.
All right, guys.
Take care.
Have a great one. Hey,
everyone.
The whole signature team. Love you guys. Really anxious to see you.
All right.
All right, ciao. Bye bye.